Order. Could we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll continue to stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Next, we have the superintendent's report. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. Watts. Good evening, board members and community members. We're going to start first, and we're going to recognize our spelling bee champions in first through third grade. And we have Ms. Bittencourt here to share that with us.
Good evening, members of the board and, of course, cabinet and parents. We are happy to be here tonight because we're celebrating your children. Yay, right? We are honoring and presenting to the board the top performers or the top champions in the spelling bee for our district. We're going to start with first grade, and some of the students who are unfortunately not able to be here, but we still want to recognize them. We're starting in descending order with recognizing our third place student at Ochoa Elementary. The name of the little boy is Giovanni Sainz, and we do want to give him a warm round of applause. And of course, we want to congratulate the parents and the staff who work with these children to get them ready. Second place was Mr. Jerome Guerrero, who is at Run Elementary. Is Mr. Guerrero's not here, right, Jerome? He's out of town. All right, so can we also give Mr. Jerome Guerrero a round of applause? Yes. And then we have from Salinas Elementary, Mr. Jonathan Davila. Awesome. Congratulations. Mr. Jerome, if you can have a seat with your parents, and you're going to come up to take a picture in a few minutes with the board, okay? Can you please have a seat? Thank you. Felicidades, Mom and Dad, for your efforts. I know it took a lot of work to get him to this place, so it didn't happen by himself. Congratulations, parents. All right, we're going to continue with second grade. So we do have all of the students here from second grade. If we can start off with third place, second place, first place. Third place, we'd like to recognize Mr. Alexis Lozano from Rivas Elementary.
Congratulations, good job. While Mr. Alexis Lozano is shaking hands with the members of the board and superintendent, we'd like to recognize Mauro Tijerina in second place.
Great job, great job.
And last but not least, Mr. Leonardo Ceja Lopez, who is our #1 champion for the district of Adame Elementary.
Sir.
Congratulations once again to our second graders for their awesome accomplishment in being our district champions in our spelling bee. We congratulate everyone, and of course, don't forget the parents, because these kids cannot do it by themselves. We want to recognize our staff and our parents and the members of the board who are instrumental in their support. All right, now let's continue with third grade.
Do we have anyone? We have at least one child from third grade? Okay, so let's see who's here.
In third grade, our third place winner was Mr. Genesis Vasquez. And I don't believe that he's here tonight, but we still want to recognize him and give him a round of applause. Our second place winner from Adame Elementary, there we go again, another one from Adame, Mr. Franco Segura Mendoza. And our our champion, number one champion from Run Elementary was Gael Hernandez, who was unable to be here, but we do want to recognize him and give him a round of applause. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and have the members of the board come to the front so that we can take pictures with the grade level. So first grade, I think we only had one child, so if you can please come up to the front so we can take a picture with the members of the board. Okay.
Stand tall, boy.
Thank you so much. Board members, if you can, thank you, thank you, mijo. Thank you, congratulations. Second grade, if we can do the same thing now for second grade? Second grade. All right, thank you, students. We congratulate you, folks. And third grade, if our Mr. Franco Segura Mendoza can come up to the front. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Okay, parents, we want to encourage you to continue bringing your children. We have greater and grander things in store for our kids. So continue bringing your children. If you have neighborhood children who would like to come to our schools, you guys are welcome to bring them. We have great things, all right? Just keep posted on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll hear a lot of the things that we're doing to help our students move forward to becoming number one. We are number one, right? Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Betancourt, and thank you to our parents, really, and our teachers, really, for working, our librarian, for working hard to make sure that our kids are ready for this big competition. All right, so moving on, next we have, as always now, it's like a new tradition, right, this district highlight, and I would like, before I start discussing a couple of things about the district, I want to make sure that we share with you a video. As you all know, we have a great dual language program, and I want to share a video with you. We have some students and some parents discussing the program with us.
This is my first year in dual language, and I'm really excited to be in this program because this helps me to understand more English and Spanish. It has helped me to feel more secure about myself, to communicate in any language.
Que vivía en un pequeño palomar.
Ser bilingüe me ayuda como me comunico con otros porque pues no todas las personas que conozco saben 2 idiomas y como para mí es fácil hablar en 2 idiomas, les puedo enseñar a comunicarse. Being bilingual allows me to communicate with my family, my friends, all the community. For example, like my mom only talks in Spanish, my dad too. So, and I have 2 sisters that talks English with me that help me learn more English.
Mi hija se ha beneficiado en la educación bilingüe porque la he notado que tiene más conocimiento académico, se desenvuelve más en su escuela, en sus tareas.
Biografía está escrita desde el tercer punto de vista. Autobiografía.
Lo que más me gusta de este programa dual es que esto no es un programa de transición, creo que es un programa que llegas con tu primer idioma, entonces lo fortaleces y luego aparte aprendes otro idioma.
¿Cuál es el escenario? ¿Cuál es el ambiente?
¡Ay, perfecto!
Yo siempre he dicho en mi persona, el inglés no es para mí, no se hizo para mí, siempre me puse como esa barrera, pero ahora con él, hasta a veces como que me exige, mami, tú puedes, tú lo vas a hacer, tú lo vas a lograr. Y hay ocasiones en las que nos ponemos hasta leer por ejemplo, un libro, y me lee una página él, y luego me dice, ahora hazlo tú. Y después yo me quedo como que leí, y él luego me dice, mira, esto que leímos quiere decir esto y esto, y me empieza a traducir. Y hasta sí me dan ganas de aprender yo también.
Muchos padres no estamos seguros del programa dual porque tenemos miedo que nuestros hijos se confundan. Y yo creo que no hay confusión, yo creo que un niño está capacitado para aprender. Entonces, mientras más pongamos a trabajar su mente, su cerebro se va a fortalecer más. Yo les diría que no tengamos miedo, que probemos, que todo va a fluir, todo fluye.
You know, I know a lot of school districts in a lot of areas, even not just in Texas, sometimes speaking a different language other than English at home is, for many, many years, many generations, been seen as a deficiency, right? And it's enough of those days, speaking a different language, another language at home is actually supposed to be an advantage. And we're supposed to be capitalizing on that and helping our students being at least biliterate, if not more, so they can open more doors to them as they grow up and go and venture out. And I mean, we're talking about a global economy now. I mean, we have folks who are working in China, South America, Africa, everywhere, and making a lot of money and really taking care of their family and their community. So we want to continue ensuring that our kids have the opportunity to be literally biliterate, right? And really very much efficient in English as well as in Spanish language, but we also in the future are looking at maybe adding more languages because we want our kids to have more opportunities and more choices. All right. Next, Ms. Watts and board members and community members, we're going to be talking about the LSG monitoring report. I just want to give an update. I know there's a lot of talk about and question about raises. I want to just tell our teachers, our staff, our community, our board members that we've been really working hard, looking through, crunching the numbers, looking through the attrition that we started, but also looking at the House Bill 3 that was passed. And there was a lot of estimation and projection that was sent or shared with us. So we're trying to do our best. And I want to ensure everybody here and also whoever is going to be watching this YouTube, I guess, right on YouTube, is Donna ISD will be given a really, really huge raise to our staff, and in particular to our teachers, because if you remember from the TASB study, yes, that's right. From the TASB study, when they looked at all the districts and where they stand as far as the pay, if you remember, there was gap obviously in many areas, but if you remember correctly, the largest gap was for our teachers. Like we rank really like in the bottom when it comes to teacher salaries. So we're gonna hopefully, if possible, close the gap or come as close as possible to close that gap. Okay, so I wanna just make sure you talk to everybody. We are working hard and we're gonna get it done. Our plan is maybe have some good preliminary numbers to share with our board members. I talked with Ms. Watts and possibly maybe see if we can have like a special board meeting or a workshop as early as maybe in about 10 days, 2 weeks. And then we're gonna be able to present even, a good numbers, better numbers. So everybody, I wanna just also take the opportunity to appreciate how flexible and patient our teachers and our staff been with us as we walking through this difficult times, right? But we want to make sure that we are taking care of them, and we appreciate everything they've been doing for our students and our community. So I just want to assure everybody, it's coming, right? And it's going to be really nice, a nice raise. It's not just basic or anything like that. But I want to make sure I put it out there so everybody can hear it. Okay, are you happy, guys? We truly appreciate everything our teachers and staff are doing for our kids, so we want to really show that. Okay, moving on to LSG monitoring report. Okay, so it's June, so it's based on our monitoring calendar. I'm supposed to share with you, our board members and our community, an update on goal 3 and superintendent constraint number 3. And if you remember, goal number 3 talks about making sure that our students are college, career, and military ready. And we want that number to increase from 43 to 23. I'm sorry, from 43 to 90 by 2023. And we have 3 goal progress monitoring measures. The first one talks about the percentage of our students who are actually passing their what's called the TSI, or Texas Success Initiative, from 19 to 43. The second one talks about the percentage of students who will be earning injury-based certificate, and we want that number to increase from 9 to 20 by 2023. And the last one talks about our students who will be graduates, seniors, who will be earning AP, IB, or dual enrollment credits, or an associate degree, and we want that number to increase from 38 to 60. Just to remind everybody that the ultimate goal is the goal that is on the top, right? So this is really the ultimate goal. This is just ways to get there. As long as you reach this here, it doesn't matter where we stand with 1, 2, and 3. I just want to make sure we understand 1, 2, and 3 is just to help us pretty much get to the main goal, which is increase the percentage of graduate demonstrating college, career, military readiness from 43 to 90% by 2023. So let's start with the overall goal. And remember, this was the end of last year. 43% of our students were what's called college, career, or military ready. When we started in back in December, we were at 42. And then March, last time when we presented, we were at 50%. And as we stand right now, we are at 51%. Now this number here may increase. Why? Because we still do not have AP scores, for example, back. Some of our students took AP tests, and we don't have those scores yet. Although they graduated, some of them don't have those scores yet. And also, we have also some certification that we're still working on. I know Mr. Moreno is here. There are some who are still going to be taking those exams, or maybe we're waiting on the scores from those exams. So this number may go higher than 51%. However, if you can see, we can celebrate that we actually reached our goal that was 51%. So we have 51% of our kids pretty much college career. And this is only the seniors. The seniors we're talking about, right? Very good. Yeah. Now, when you break it down, remember this is the Texas Initiative TSI. This is a test that our students have to take. Although we went up to 10%, we did not reach our goal. But as I said, it's an overall, because you can, our students can become college career military ready by one of those three things, right? It doesn't have to be one and the other. It could be one or the other. The second one, and this is what, when we talk about the industry-based certificate, and you can see that our students are enrolling more in CTE classes, but not only enrolling, but also are getting their certification. And some of them are national certification. In other words, that's a very serious test that they have to take, and they are passing those tests and getting their certification. That will help them eventually get a job out of high school if they like to either go straight to the industry and work the career, or some of them may want to work to pay their way through college. So they're giving options to our kids. So as you can see, we went from 3% all the way to 12%, and I think, Mr. Moreno, we still have few who may be testing and have scores?
We won't be finished testing until next Wednesday.
See, so this number is predicted most likely to go up higher than the 12%. So we want to applaud our CTE and our teachers and Mr. Moreno and the team for really working really hard on this. I know that this year we added about 4 different certification. We went up to, I think, 27, and then we're planning on having 6 more for next year. So we will have, I guess, 33 different certifications, including a drone pilot certification, real estate certification. What else, Mr. Moreno?
CDL, CNA, computer technician,
Barber would be, I think, the only here in the, at least, I don't know what Westlake doesn't offer, and maybe PSG, does PSG offer barber?
the only ones that were offering it last year was over in La Guia,
Okay, so we don't have anybody here who's offering some of these certification. We also are talking with the city of Donna, possibly maybe offering what's called the firefighter certification. It's a 2-year program. Oh, yeah, it's Harlingen, I think, is the only one who's doing that, and would be maybe the second one offering also here. I didn't get a chance to talk with Mr. Moreno, but in a conference I get to listen, to hear about, you hear about the cybersecurity, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of universities are going toward having those programs, because it's a big thing, right? We all worrying about like an internet attack and people are stealing our information. So it's becoming more and more popular. Well, now they are offering stuff like that at the high school level. So high school students can actually get certified. It's a 2-year program, and they can get certified and become what's called a cyber security, something, yeah. And it's a very well-paid position, and it can open even more doors for our students eventually if they want to go and continue doing that at the college level. So we're very excited about what we're doing in the CTE program.
So we're adding 6 additional certifications?
6 for sure, and we're looking at possibly maybe even more.
Okay.
Yeah. This is for
Superintendent, I'm just going to ask a question either to Mr. Moreno or yourself. Are we tying these efforts with our local folks? Meaning, for example, if there's a barber shop, are there any sponsors that we're tying our certificates to, other than us just having a certificate to have it to better the student?
Well, what do you mean by tying it to?
For example, if we have a classroom or an area, an entity that's being certified in barbershop, do we have a college that can say hire him maybe interimly as a student to help teach in the barbershop, for example?
We do communicate a lot with GA now. They have a barber conference with talent, and a lot of our kids, once they graduate from cosmetology, they can also go for their instructor license.
But I don't know if that's helped too, Dr.
No, it is. I mean, because there's certain ways, obviously, that we can cut how we help the student, and one way is to tie efforts with our community partnerships, build
Yes,
partnerships.
yes.
Where we can tie the student to a agency of sorts, whatever that is, whether it's the fire department, whether it's the police department, whatever certificate that is tied to, you can have sponsorships, as we call them,
And
or partnerships.
Yes, sir. I mean, definitely, we are working with some, and we definitely can always look for others. As I said, the fire, the fire. I can't even think. Yes, there will be a true collaboration with the city of Dana, and so they will be working with us. They will be helping us out with the training and such. I know, for example, another organization, like a vet tech, for example, they have to go and do some work like internship. And I don't know if I think it was like an article, one of them was picked up actually, right? She was picked up by the same company or the same organization because they were so impressed with our students and her work ethics and talent. So we are looking always for ways to partner with other folks here in the community.
Why don't we aim higher in the nursing program? Why don't we aim higher in the nursing program?
Why we not? I'm sorry.
Aim higher.
With the nursing program?
TSJ has an RA program.
Yeah. You mean at the high school level?
Yes.
I mean, we can always look, as I said, we're always looking for ways of improving, and that's something we can look into it. I know Mr. Moreno we can look at it, definitely. That's definitely, we can look into it. Ms. Martinez, thank you for your thought, yeah. All right, moving on to the third one, and so this is where we have students who are earning AP, IB, or dual enrollment credit, and we want that number to move from 38 to 60%, and as you see, we are in 26%. However, as I said, a lot of these tests, we don't have the scores yet, so we're still waiting on some of their scores. So this number also expected to go higher.
Do you anticipate we're gonna meet that goal, though?
I don't think we're gonna get the 43%, but as I said earlier, these are the progress measure we develop, thinking this is what's gonna get us to our ultimate goal, which is making sure that our kids are college and career military. At the end of the day, what matters the most is, are they college, career, or military ready? Are we reaching that goal? If more of them are getting it through CTE and through, for example, other ways, then it's fine, as long as they have those options.
That's right. Okay, because this one is the one, because my thought was, if, let's say we ended up at 28%, that would be a 10% decrease from last year in this thing. But this is the area where a student can only kind of count in one place. Is that right?
Correct. You only need it in one place. So
but you can only like a student, in order to be considered college, career, military ready, as long as they hit one of those
Correct.
indicators,
Correct.
they're considered that. It's not like they're counted in IB and TSI.
no,
and
it's only one. It only needed in one, and it counted in one. Yep.
I guess, Dr. AC, the only question that I have, because I'm looking at them.
The 28 to
know-
26.
Yes, and I know that for 3.3, you're still pending, right?
Yes.
So is this final for 3.1 for the TSI?
I think we still have some testing also
So
going.
you still have some
We,
pending on that one?
yes, we always have, we started this really last year. We even have our school testing all summer long too. So we will be testing during the summer too. So we'll have kids testing going through TSI as well.
Can I ask you a question about since we're on the TSI?
Yes.
That one, 3.1? So last year, we ended up at 19% that met the TSI, like requirements, ELA and math.
Right.
But this year so far, we're at 10.
Correct.
Do we know some of the reasons why the difference in last year versus this year? What's causing that difference?
I don't have the answer right now, but we can definitely investigate some more. I know, for example, in order for somebody to pass TSI, they have to pass reading and math. They have to take two tests, two parts. One is the math and one is the reading, and they have to score a 320 in the math and 321 on the reading, if I remember correctly. So it's not an easy test. It's a very hard test for anybody to take. So, but I will investigate and figure out
Yeah,
what
I'm
happened.
just curious, like, it'd be interesting to me, like, if we ended up, like, at, let's say, 19% again, or something where we were
Yes.
close to where we were last year.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be, like, to me, that seems like, oh, maybe things kind of held steady. But since there's kind of that 9% decrease, that's significant enough that makes me curious to think, is there something that caused that, or
Yeah.
is that,
So, and I can
do you
investigate.
see what I'm saying?
So, yes, absolutely. So the TSI, what the TSI does is pretty much tell us and tell, let's say,
The student, if they're college ready, right?
Correct. So before they can start taking those dual credit courses or CC courses, they have to pass this TSI test.
Oh, and
Or-
are we having more students take the TSI this year?
Yes, we do. We are testing more kids. And
This
then,
year than last
yes,
year?
we
What
are.
would have been a reason for this?
We are testing more. And then the other thing also, they can take, there are other tests that during the school year they can take too. And if they score well on those tests, they don't have necessarily to take TSI because that puts them college ready already to take those courses.
okay.
So there are other high school or like college board, I guess, tests that they can take. And if they score high on them, they don't necessarily have to take TSI because automatically they qualify to take those dual credit courses. But I will investigate and find
Does
out
that
what
make
happened.
sense though?
Yes.
Why I'm kind of like asking that? Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Az, it seems like, well, I know we're still pending on TSI and the dual enrollment.
Yes.
But it seems, I mean, on the data that we have in front of us, that it's basically career and technology that's carrying this particular goal. And as far as the other one, 3.1, reading and math, you're indicating that it's a very hard assessment. However, we need to continue to relay the message that we have very high
course.
expectations for our children.
Yes.
And we expect them to be successful in this area as well.
Absolutely. One of the things we're doing, we started actually, is giving the TSI as early as 8th grade. That has never been done before. The reason why you want to give the TSI as early as 8th grade is because that will allow our students, as they come in as a freshman, so they can start taking those dual credit courses and college level courses early on. So they don't have to wait until they're 10th graders or 11th graders for them to start doing it. So we actually bringing the stuff down to the middle school so we can give them a head start. So they can earn more college hours or more college credits and stuff like that early on. So we are working. Another thing is also we are working on is to answer kind of like to what you said, Dr. Valdez, is providing more training or more tutorials, I guess, around TSI and bringing some more resources so our students and our teacher can work together to ensure that our students can pass that TSI test. And I'm going to show you, if you allow me, I'm going to go through it and I'm going to show you some of the things that we're doing to assist in improving and reaching our goals.
Tracy, is that including the data that you have, is it including your 8th grade testing? Or
No,
it's just
this is
separate?
strictly a graduate, sir. These are only, we only have, the state of Texas only looks at, when it comes to CCMR, only the graduate, the seniors. So this is 2019 seniors scores. So we put approaching and meeting because overall goal we met at 51%, but I know also what we discussed is TSI, thank you, TSI and the AP, we were kind of below our, the projection, okay, or the goal. Next steps, so we're going to proactively monitor. We also have SAT prep and SAT prep. We also do a TSI prep at the campuses. We're using, Imagine Math Pathway is a program we're using for math, but also what they have a TSI, SAT, and SAT prep component too. So we're going to make that available to our teachers more and our students so they can practice. We want to also do more PD for our CTE teachers. We added more certification for CTE, AP student register for testing, and then we're hosting college and career festivals to promote college more. And the evidence, we pulled this data from, obviously from, we have a CCMR inventory report, and we're also looking at different data points that we got, TSI scores, AP, IB, and dual enrollment and associate degrees numbers. So Donna High School and Donna North High Schools have already achieved their target for the following overall CCMR and this year certification. What we have to work more also is 3D. A lot of our 3D students are not passing TSI. They're not, although many of them are graduating, which is very good. We want them also to make sure that they are CCMR, which is College Career Military Ready. So we're going to be working on that. We have a plan for next year to work with our 3D students to make sure that also they're doing well when it comes to this component. So, yes, sir.
I had a question. You were just saying you brought in 3D Academy. There was, I was reading a statement on Facebook earlier, and I think they were talking about all the programs that Mr.
Moreno
has at the Kate department. And some of the students, I don't know whether they're presently enrolled at the 3D Academy, said, great, you know, can 3D Academy students also enroll in some of these certificate programs, because that's something that these kids are given a second chance to graduate. And, you know, I guess we're wanting to know, hey, can I take that truck driving class at CDL? Can I do a barber class? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Yes, sir, and I'm going to give the opportunity, great question. I'm going to give the opportunity to Mr. Moreno to respond, but I can tell you right now, we're already looking into that even before that comment. I know we talked about Mr. Rana too a few weeks ago, and we talked about adding more CTE courses or having more CTE courses. But go ahead, Mr. Moreno, and talk.
We've actually been in talks with Mr. Villanueva, and we currently have some students that are going into 3D, they're going to SUC for welding as well. But we talked to him about, because the high school is so close, that we can bus kids over for things like cosmetology, the barber program, the auto collision that we have over there and so forth. So we're going to talk to that.
Yeah, that was already in the work, but thank you for asking that question, because we knew that they needed more options at the 3D Academy. I was just want to talk about, and I know, you know, we're always trying to bring more opportunities, and even during the summer, we want our students to be engaged with stuff, right? I mean, they don't like it, but so so here's the stuff that we have going as far as like K through second. It's happening or happened for our students. I don't want to read everything, but this is some of the stuff. We even have coding for coding minions, believe it or not. We have kindergartners learn how to code, right? Is that right? So we have all kind of programs going on. Mayan Summer Reading Contest. Mayan is like a virtual library. There are like thousands and thousands of books out there, and our students can read all day if they want to, but we have different things going on for our K through second reading. This is for Meets and Master on Stars, some of the programs we have going on this summer too, to help our students obviously continue the learning, right, and always stay ready and stuff like that, and prepare for next year. We have from literacy program, from a tech camp. I don't know if you saw on Facebook, we have the Apollo, the robotic competitions. A lot of our elementary students and schools are very excited. We're the only one, right, doing that. So we have a lot of, it's called Apollo Angels right there in the middle. And we even have code for girls coding alone, right? Like, I don't know if it's, but we're doing all kind of stuff for our students because we want them to be always stay engaged, as I said, and stuff that they actually enjoy doing while learning new things. So as far as CCMR, we have TSI camp. As I said, we're still doing TSI testing and also, you know, prep to make sure our students are passing that TSI test. We have a welding CC going right now, right? We have a beam. I don't know if you're about the beam. We have students who took Algebra 1 as 8th graders. Now they're sitting in the beam program taking geometry. So as a freshman, they're gonna start taking college algebra. That's how good our students are, and that's the kind of things that we want our students to be doing. So we're offering all this stuff. So they took Algebra 1, taking geometry now. The next course could be Algebra 2 or college algebra, and many of them will be taking college algebra. And so we have students who actually will be doing that this coming year as a freshman. So so anyway, so we're very proud of that BEAM program, and it's really doing great things for our students. Next is the superintendent shall not allow excessive staffing ratio in the district. and we want to make sure that the percentage of district budget spent on staffing will decrease from 81 to 75% by 2021. This is, we did not change it, so the June should reflect 80%. I know we've been going through attrition, but it's really, we're kind of like at the 80% still. So the goal was 81%, but we're already meeting that goal. Let me see, so that's why we put, meaning we're still continuing with our current practice, which is also working on attrition and things like that. We're not letting anybody go, we're not rifting, we're not doing anything. It's just as the position, if it's that position is identified as an excess, as the person leaves, we just absorb through attrition that position. That's pretty much what's happening. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Yes,
I
sir.
had a question. I had a question about some staff members that were, their positions, it says attrition, yet they've been advised that they need to apply for something else because that position is going to be eliminated at the end of this year. So that's really not attrition when you're forcing someone out of a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what position, Mr. Gar-
Apparently, there's some members, they're clerical, members who've gotten letters that said, your job is being eliminated at the end of this summer. So you haven't applied for another job somewhere else, so your job may be gone. So that, to me, is not the idea of attrition.
Yeah.
Attrition would be that you have a clerk and she retires, and then when she retires, that position goes away.
So I don't know what position you're talking about. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
If, in some cases, if there's a grant position or program change, and that's, I don't think there is, I mean, maybe a couple of positions out there that may be affected by that, and we had a personal conversation with those folks.
Yeah.
Other than that, no one is being riffed. No one is.
I know of a clerk who went from being a clerk, and because he had his certification to be a TA,
Okay.
he was moved down to a TA.
Okay.
And now, at the end of this year, he's looking at possibly $8,000 to $10,000 drop in pay.
If the position was either grant funded or like somehow the money is not there anymore, we are trying to work with our teachers, or I'm sorry, those staff members, not teachers, to make sure that they have a job. Because otherwise, I mean, technically, with those kind of things, you can just say, you know what, we don't have any more money, we don't have money to fund this grant-funded position, then you have to apply. But we're trying to work with our staff to make sure at least they have a job. Now, I only know of a couple positions. I don't know, it's not as sporadic. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, people sometimes try to make it sound like it's like a happening everywhere. No, if it's happened, it happened because of one particular maybe grant money or program that maybe we need to, based on funding, we need to maybe cut or stuff like that. But as I'm talking about anybody who's 199, anybody who's funded through Title I, anybody who's funded through bilingual, none of those positions are being cut or riffed or anything like that.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and mention the position because this is my concern is you have a clerk who directly deals with the children.
Okay.
Okay, but his job was, or their job was cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you have people that are working in central office that are also overstaffed, but their positions are not being cut. And that's something that, to me, is, at the end of the day, we're here for the kids.
Right.
Mr. Guerrero, I suggest that you email that directly so it's in writing, so we know very specifically what position, what it is, and superintendent will look into that. So to make sure that that staff member is not confused about what is going on and that it feels fair. So that's what I suggest. I think we should move on to other questions that are broader, but definitely follow up, I think, in writing to the superintendent so we can have
And there's
that
also
information.
a personnel item in executive where we can discuss it in detail with superintendent and any.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for your
I think we're
response.
getting off a little bit.
Call for the order of the day.
I have two questions. So Project Smart showed up several times. That's the only one I'm not really familiar with. Can you share a little bit more about that one?
Yes, I don't have all the details about that Project Smart. I know
It
it's.
seems like it comes up often, so I was just curious to learn more.
Yes, again, I don't have all the, I don't want to give you the wrong information, so what I can do, I can email all our members more information about it, yep.
Okay, that's fine.
I believe it's a migrant-funded program, so
Yes.
it's Project Smart, specifically targeted for migrant students.
Correct, and at the high school level, at the high school level,
levels.
at the high school level. Say what? All of it? Okay.
There was one other question I had, and then just for us as board members, you all, thinking back to, you know, our Lone Star governance, like training, inputs, outputs, outcomes. This right here, I think of all the list of like the inputs, right? And so we're thinking, like, as we move forward, figuring out along with the superintendent, what of these inputs, like what are the outputs, like what are the measures along the way that help us say which of these programs help our students more or less than others, right? And then over time, then we can directly say, here are the ones that help us towards our outcomes. So just to help us, like, I know it's been a while since we've like, maybe we're in the training, but this is the input list, if you will. And then some of the measures that, like, what comes out of this, like the Mayan reading, like X number of students have read X number and have advanced X grade levels. That's like an output from this input, if you will, okay? There was one other, didn't you say that there was addition of a certain number of courses in 8th grade?
Yes.
That are new or something? Can you
Yes,
talk
so,
about that?
yeah, so we are bringing a lot of high school courses to the middle school level. So we add in biology, we add in geometry. We always had Algebra 1. We also had a Spanish 1, A, 1B. So we also add in AP Spanish. So some of our kids who are really very fluent in Spanish and maybe were in bilingual education in elementary, they can actually handle what's called the advanced place AP Spanish. So we are going to be offering for the first time AP Spanish here next year in our middle schools. So geometry, biology, AP Spanish, Art 1, we're going to be offering art for high school credit. We also added 2 kind of like technology courses this year already, which is part of the Project Lead the Way, and has to do around a lot of it about technology and coding and stuff like that. So we add in those 2, and I'm missing at least, I know they are not, I'm missing a couple, but Art 1, Biology, Algebra 1, English 1, I can send you a list if you want.
No, that's fine. 9 courses, you said?
We'll be up to 9.
So this is the thing I was curious about, because one of the things that I think about you all is you know, our seniors, the measures here are like our seniors, right? But we have to be thinking about 5 years out to get to 90%. What is going to have to be true now for us to get to the 90%? I think that's an example of like something that's happening in the middle school, so that those students that are taking those courses, the high school credits at the middle school level as 8th graders, then have the freedom in their schedule as high schoolers to take more dual credit IB AP. Anyways, I'm just pointing that out because sometimes I think I can get stuck on thinking just the goal in that 1 year, but actually we have to be doing things, the superintendent is doing things at the lower levels so that we can be more assured to reach the goal 3-4 years from now.
Yeah.
We can't just do stuff at the same, you see what I'm saying?
Correct. And thank you for bringing that up. It's kind of like what we did with the pre-K program and having a full day pre-K 4, and next year starting with pre-K 3. Our students in pre-K 3 and 4, we started learning reading right early. And so by the time they get to K, first and second, we want them to be reading on or above grade level. So we won't see that in the data maybe until like a year, 2 years, or 3 years down the road. But you can see that it's improving. We have more and more of our kids are reading on or above grade level by 2nd grade. Thank you. Okay. So if any other questions, comments?
Any other questions? No. There's a motion on the floor to
I'll move.
accept or reject.
I'll move to accept.
Dr. Mary made the motion. Made the motion. A second. Mr. De Los Rios?
Accept.
And I accept. Motion
In
passes.
favor? Oops, sorry. Everybody was in favor.
In favor, everybody. Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, I hope you're getting tired of me talking today, but next we have Dunn ISD Board presentation. As you all know, we engaged in our work on our strategic plan. And so I want to, first of all, before we start, any members from the strategic plan committee, could you stand up, please, if you are part of it? We want to acknowledge all our students, staff, and partners and friends for really working, so thank you. We have, I think, over 40 members. I know they didn't make it to, oh, by the way, we have 3 of our board members, too, who are, I want to acknowledge them for really participating. Also, Mr. Guerrero sat in several days with us, Ms. Reina, too, and Dr. Valdez. Thank you. So we sat in several days. We had, as I said, I know, obviously, I mean, people have a lot going on, so they couldn't make it to every day, every meeting. But overall, we had more than 40 students, teachers, staff, principals, board members, community members, friends, partners who are part of this great, I guess, endeavor. And we were able to really develop something that represents the vision of our community, the vision of our board, and I think something that will guide the work, our Dunn ISD and the community work for the next few years. So I have with us today, we had a great facilitator, Dr. Waddell, with us. So, Dr. Waddell? Yeah. And so we'll be presenting, thank you. And also Dr. Aceves for really working together. So I want to make sure that we're going to be presented to our board what we developed as a committee and to get your input, I guess. Thank you.
Madam President, Dr. Aziz, board members, cabinet, students, parents, faculty and staff who are in the audience, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Aceves, for those of you who don't know me, and this is the first time on the podium, so I'm kind of excited. I had the privilege of facilitating some of the strategic design planning. Thank you for everybody who served. We had about 35 to 40 participants who dedicated at least 6 days of their time. So there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in here, and a lot of eating. So it was nice to eat and chat at the same time. There's a few people who are here to help present tonight, and I want to introduce them personally. Beyond Dr. Waddell, who is our facilitator, we do have 3 teachers, 2 students, and we do have a community member and a parent as well. So as I call your name, please stand up so I can call you out. Let's start with our students. Jonathan Martinez, who is Donna North High School. Jonathan Shershan. And now our faculty, we have Mr. Ramirez from Donna North. We have Ms. Keith from Todd. We also have Ms. Loya, who's hiding behind here, from Salazar. Then in the back, we have parent Ms. Rodriguez. And then from the community, we have Ms. Artis. If you can just... Oh, and Ms. Hernandez, one of our parents. I know she's saying no, but you can also wave. And we also had principals involved in this, but I don't see any of the principals here in the building. But thank you very much for their time and dedication. I know it was hard work, and I know we need to move on, so now I'm going to present Dr. Waddell, who will continue with the presentation.
Whoops. I don't want to look at myself in that picture, so I just... First of all, if I may, thank you for the privilege of coming here and working. We worked in this room, and there was a lot of intensity in the work, and this room was filled with tables and round tables, and the group getting up to the large group and going back to the small group and sweating it out. The people that were on the team, I just want to commend them. I thought they did a fantastic job. They worked really hard, and even though, as Dr. Aziz said, some couldn't be there all the time, nearly all of them were there all the time. So tremendous dedication on the part of the team members, and it was really a joy to work with them. I want to emphasize that what's going to be presented to you this evening is their work. I facilitated, we brought a process to help them do the work, but every word that you're going to hear tonight is theirs. And I will say that they worked and argued long and hard on many of those words. So tremendous work on their part, and I feel like I've made a lot of good friends down here, and a little sad that this will be the end of my tenure. I'll miss the people that I've worked with over the last couple of months. So I just want to talk really quick about our company. This slide here, I think, is just so important, and what we've been hearing tonight already is the work that's being done in this district to create a high-performance culture, and this strategic planning process is a part of that. But for our company, what we love to do is partner with districts and local communities in their endeavor and their quest to create high-performance cultures, and that's really what we do. We believe it has to be a partnership. And the mission of our company is that is to ensure that neighborhood public schools is the first choice for every family. And there are choices out there, but we want public schools to be the first choice, and that's what we do. You can see who we've worked with and the numbers that we've worked with mostly in the state of Texas, though actually there are clients around the country, and that's growing, but we're mainly a Texas company. That's kind of the sequence of what we did. We started in late March working here with the summits and the focus groups and surveys. There was a lot of participation in that. I don't remember the exact number, but it was...
I think we had a close to 1,500 survey response.
It was pretty impressive, and that's what we look for. Our process is to engage the community. The name of our company is to engage, and we take that seriously, and we believe for schools to be the first choice, that engagement has to be deep and strong with all stakeholders and all community members. So the first part was that summit survey and focus groups. Then the team, members of whom are here. By the way, I'm going to step aside. Just these students did phenomenal work. I tell you, I've seen this before, and when we begin working with districts, we insist that students be involved. Once we get going, everybody knows why. And the thing that's remarkable about them is they almost immediately, well, really immediately take on leadership roles. And I think the group would agree with me that our students here were strong leaders in the process. So I just want to make that point. And there were quite a few students that were involved. So the Design Create teams, we came together, met 4 times, and you'll hear the work that we did on that in April. It was pretty intense. And then we came back in early May and did the lead part. All right, guiding principles, number 1, I've already been highlighting it, be student focused. Everything's about the kids. But I've also been talking about the importance of being community-based. Everything is aligned and integrated. You kind of look at the work as being kind of an inverted triangle, starting out broad with beliefs, and then ending up with an action plan at the end, which is pretty specific. We use the design thinking process. What we mean by backward design is we start with the end in mind. Where are you trying to get to, and then design back from that. And then we believe that the work that we do should be actionable, and we ended up with action steps out of the process. These are the things that we do in Engage. We call that the learner environment designing, and you see strategic plan is under that. So we started with beliefs on the first day of design when this group came together. I think you cannot talk about beginning with the end in mind if you don't start talking about what you believe in. And the fact that we work to create a diverse representative group of members on the design team representing all parts of the community, we believe the process we use to come at the beliefs, everybody, what we ended up with would be something that the entire community could agree, yes, those are beliefs that we have here. One thing about our decision making, We did not use consensus, we did not vote, everything was by agreement. So fundamentally, if one person had a problem with something we were doing, it would not go forward. Now, that didn't mean that just because someone objected to something, we stopped right there. There was a lot of discussion around that, and we worked through that process, but everything you're going to see tonight was agreed upon by everyone on the design team. But here's what we call beliefs, fundamental values, overriding convictions, bedrock principles of the community. The foundation of all action is the hill that you would really stake your claim and die on. So we asked the group to work and come up to agreements, the beliefs they had about schools and Don ISD, and here we go.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos. For me, it was an honor to be part of this group. I was honored to be chosen as one of the elementary teachers to represent our school district, the district. So we were very passionate about the beliefs, and we believe that every child has the right to learn and deserves a passionate teacher in an engaging environment. Our schools are the responsibility of our community. Everyone thrives in a positive school culture that values respect, trust, diversity, and dignity. Establishing positive student, faculty, and parent relationships, it is the key to a student academic success. Teachers need to feel supported, motivated, and provided with the necessary resources that will ensure students' success. Social and emotional skills are developed from the elementary to the high school, leading to students finding their passion. All students deserve a quality and well-rounded education.
Thought there might be another page of that, but that was it. Thank you very much. I talked a little bit earlier about backward design. Stephen Covey, probably all of you are familiar with him, said to begin with the end in mind means start with a clear understanding of your destination. It means to know where you're going so you better understand where you are now, so that the steps you take are always in the right direction. And something to keep in mind on that is some of the decision making that you've been discussing tonight. By having that approach, it gives you a means by which you can decide the things that you're going to focus on and those things that you will not. And in thinking about the end in mind, these are some questions that we talked about with the design team to help them think about where that end is. And that end led to something that we call a call to action. It could also be called a vision statement. I love that photograph because it seems to just epitomize that vision or that call to action and what that means. So we're going to share with you the call to action the design team came up with.
All Donna ISD students are empowered with academic success and life skills to boldly lead and achieve personal success in a global society.
That was pretty awesome. That's taken some initiative.
Good evening, board. My name is John Shershan. I'm also a student representative from down north. And before I begin, it was a great honor to serve alongside you and the community just to empower our district. And when they chose us, they told us that not only would be improving our district, but there was free food, so I was all on board. So here are some learner outcomes that we came together to discuss. Every student will be competent in real-world life skills. All students will graduate college, career, or military ready. All students will participate in community service hours every year. All students will be academically, socially, and emotionally prepared to interact and compete in today's society. Every student will consistently demonstrate a hard work ethic, critical thinking skills, and collaborate for the betterment of the community. And continuation, all students will demonstrate up-to-date technology skills. All students will know about different career pathways. All students will be creative problem solvers in all classes. All students will communicate confidently, efficiently, and effectively to be independent and productive citizens. All students will continuously demonstrate responsibility for their learning, and all students will read at or above grade level.
So the next thing that we're going to introduce is going to be the learner profile. And in talking about that, and heard a reference, your superintendent talked just earlier tonight about the fact that these kids will be competing around the world and the kinds of skills they're going to need. And really, we're not designing for just now today. We are designing for today, but we're designing for their future, which is their lifetime. So we talked about the way the world has changed and different skills, and then this is also done in the summits and surveys and focus groups as well. And the groups looked at that data, but we had a long discussion about skills that kids need to thrive in the world today. And if you think about those learner outcomes that he just read, skills come to mind in terms of achieving that. So what the learner profile is traits and skills that the learners here in Don ISD will have. And by the way, they put these into different groups. Not all districts do that, but this district decided that they wanted to identify the groups that these learner profiles are in.
So one of our first learner profile skills, ambition, is self-driven, has self-discipline, is a self-advocate, and is goal-oriented. Resilience, uses feedback for growth, is resourceful, is flexible, experiences success and failure.
Hi, good evening. In order to continue on with the learner profile skills, I'd just like to thank the board members for allowing me to be here tonight. The community, faculty, not telling me to get off here at the podium. But so basically we have a brain, and there's a distinction between the brain, kind of like you have a yin and yang. So on the left side of the brain, we have the inhibitory, sorry. On the right side, we have the excitatory, in which the left side is to process reasoning, logic, and so on and so forth. And so with that comes our thinking skills. There we are. So to become a problem solver, a critical thinker, a risk taker, is reflective, creative, metacognitive, and an analytical thinker. And on the right side of the brain, we have our social skills and emotional, which would include emotionally intelligent, service-oriented, is open-minded, mindful, empathetic, sympathetic, self-aware, and compassionate. Next up, we also have our other set of skills that is extremely, required to continue on. And so work ethic is responsible, self-disciplined, diligent, conscientious, perseveres, is loyal, moral, collaborative, earnest, punctual, productive, dynamic, involved. And for communication skills, which is very and extremely important for everyone, active listening, speaks clearly and effectively, receives and gives feedback, adapts to the audience, self-monitors, understands nonverbal cues, intuitive to audience.
And what we're hoping on these profiles are those are the things that you could see at every level with every student every day. That's what you would be striving for. So the next thing we did in our work was once we have beliefs and the call to action and the learner profile and learner outcomes, start working on goals. So we're starting to get more specific. And this is the last explanation. So here's the definition that we have for goals, and we believe in being bold. So they're bold resolutions that dedicate your resources and energies, the assets that you have, towards continuous creation, and to achieve the extraordinary, not the average, not the okay, as expressed in the call to action, learner outcomes. You're going to see two segments coming up, what we call goals and what we call specific results. Those specific results were written under the goals, And that bridges the district into action that they can take in order to accomplish everything that we're talking about here tonight. So we'll begin with the goals.
Just a side note, we as a committee, we struggled to understand what goals meant, and we had to like rewire our brains to understand like what is really a goal. So first up, create, update, and maintain buildings and facilities that are safe, modern, secure, and efficient to support a global learning environment. And with that being said, in order to grow as a district, we need to ensure that our foundation, everything that we possess as of today, presently, is safe, modern, and secure for our students, for our faculty, for everyone that resides in it. 2, develop a strategic plan that integrates technology into all learning environments. And technology, as of today, we're using it everywhere on our smartphones, watches, laptops. We're using it right now to show this presentation. 3 is allocate resources in order to execute our 5-year strategic plan. And again, if we don't reallocate the funds we have today, nothing is deemable, and we need to ensure that what we're spending is used adequately and effectively to provide for our district to be efficient in what we do. 4, create a comprehensive educational program that will promote authentic learning experiences through real-world opportunities in and beyond the classroom. 5, develop increased opportunities for community involvement that improve trust and support for both the community and the schools. 6, create a strategic plan to recruit and retain students through the implementation of meaningful and engaging programs.
Good evening. My name is Miss Keith. I teach at Todd Middle School. I spent 7 years in the district. I took a timeout and went elsewhere for 2 years, and I couldn't get back fast enough. I am so proud to be a part of this district. I have been since the first day that I was hired. I felt very privileged to be able to come back. And I'm very excited about the leadership that we have currently, about where this district is wanting to go and where I know we can go. And the reason why I know we can get there is because of these students. It's empowering to be in their presence. It reinvigorates our passion for those of us that are around them. And these are our students from our community, and they are so capable of so much more than we give them credit for, myself included. That's sometimes the nature of the beast, but I just want you all as community members and as staff, I want to say thank you for all that you do to empower our students and us as teachers, and I just want you to know that it's working, and I'm excited for them to see their influence that will have a lasting impact on our district. So I'm going to go over a few of the goals with the specific results, and I will tell you that some of these were hashed out over long periods of time, because everyone was so passionate about getting our district going into the direction that we want it to be, and for it to be known as the district in the Valley. We will create, update, and maintain buildings and facilities that are safe, modern, secure, and efficient to support a global learning environment. That includes implementing a long-term facilities plan that provides learning facilities which are safe, modern, efficient, and can evolve based on learning needs. Improve facilities district-wide so they are modern, flexible spaces to create positive learning environments. Create a comprehensive safety plan to ensure the safety and security of all students and staff. Develop a plan that ensures state-of-the-art security systems and technology infrastructure. Next, we will develop a strategic plan that integrates technology into all learning environments. Implement a collaborative instructional model that integrates technology and provides hands-on experiences for all district stakeholders. And we determined that included our community members, our parents, our teachers, our students, our staff. That includes everyone. create an infrastructure in all facilities that encompasses the district's needs, implement a student and educator evaluation system for equipment usage and needs, establish professional development and ongoing evaluations that build the capacity of staff and students. Sorry, okay. One of the ones that I think is the most important, we will allocate resources in order to execute our 5-year strategic plan. In the past, Donna has had they'll pick something and they say they're going to do it, but we don't follow through with it. And I know there's various reasons for that, but one of the biggest things that I was excited about with this is that this is a 5-year plan, and it's not finished. It will be continued as we go through the process. So this one, I think, is one of the most important goals with specific results that we came up with. By allocating the resources to execute our strategic plan, our 5-year strategic plan, we will create a comprehensive needs assessment in order to prioritize resources equitably based on the strategic 5-year plan. Establish a transparent evaluation system that measures the effectiveness of resource allocations based on student outcomes.
Hello, good evening. My name is Madhu Reese, in case some of you don't know me. I am a Donna North High School teacher, also sponsor for various amount of activities that's here at the school. 1990 graduate. I think I was pressing that button. Oh, now I see what I did wrong. 1999 graduate from Donna High School and a proud member of the Donna community, and always looking forward to best helping the district in any way possible. So for what we have for, oh, that's what I did. Sort of moved it around. And I do want to give, right here on this one, we will create a comprehensive educational program. That one. I do want to take note and give a special thanks also to Dr. Aceves, who was very instrumental in all this and just in supporting us and getting us to where we needed to be. As Ms. Keith was mentioning, it was not easy to get everyone else together and to hear everyone to hear the various members' opinions and such like that. But we definitely learned from each other. That was definitely one of the best experiences I know for myself in getting to work together as a whole, to know that we all have the end in mind to make Donna ISD the best that it can be. With that said, let's go into the goals and specific results. We will create a comprehensive educational program that will promote authentic learning experiences through real-world opportunities in and beyond the classroom. Design curriculum that integrate project-based learning aligned with state standards. Develop interactive field experiences with complement classroom study and assist the development of cultural awareness, which is extremely important. And establish partnerships with local businesses that provide real-world experiences, kind of like what Lieutenant Colonel was talking about. That's exactly was something that we were wanting to focus in on. And develop and provide to all personnel professional development that will lead to the implementation of innovative instructional practices. We will develop increased opportunities for community involvement that improve trust and support for both the community and the schools. Implement a comprehensive communication plan that promotes student, parent, and community engagement, which of course is very crucial. Develop and establish an internship mentorship program that promotes rigorous standards and real-world applications. Provide a strategic and targeted communication plan that promotes parental and community input. Expand networks of strategic external partnerships to enhance and enrich student experiences. We will create a strategic plan to recruit and retain students through the implementation of meaningful and engaging programs. Implement an easily accessible student online registration process. Create and promote engaging blended and virtual classes that focus on student needs and the high-risk population. And expand the availability and accessibility of advanced course offerings throughout our district, which we're starting to do.
So that's the strategic design. There is a one thing that's not on this presentation. The last thing they did in working on this was select what year one specific results. So the specific results that you just heard or read, they took 25% of those and said, we're going to focus on these for year one. And then they wrote action steps for those. So I know that's going to be shared with you by Dr. Azais, and that's something that he will be working on through his staff, and then reporting to you on as at the end of the year, as well as and then each year, then the district will select another a year two group of specific results, doing the same thing over the 5-year period of time. So
I just have it, Dr. Rivera, I haven't actually, I don't know if you want to
comment.
No, I'm just saying that for our staff and our community, these are what Dr. Rodillo was talking about. These are the goal-specific results, and as you can see, there some of them are here. I know it's hard to see, but these the one that we'll be focusing on as far as achieving for the year one.
So he'll be sharing more with you on that, because that's what he'll be working with you, and what he'll be doing with the staff in terms of implementing those year one specific results. So any questions that you all have that he can answer, or I can answer, or members of the team can answer, we're happy to take your questions.
Just want to, can I make a comment real quick?
Yes, sir.
I was privileged to be on the committee, and I just want to congratulate all the students. You guys did a great job, and I was really impressed with the quality of your input, and your participation. And one of the things I did notice that we were split up into, at one time, I think into eight teams or 7 teams?
6 teams.
6 teams, and every time that we had to go up there and present, the ones that took the lead were our students, and I was impressed with the fact that they were able to take the information, present it, and get up there in front of everybody, and they were the students, we were the adults, but yet they were out there taking the lead in this thing. So they really took to heart, and I was very impressed with the way that you guys really participated. So thank you all for doing that. I think Dr. Waddell, you mentioned that a little while ago, that they really took a very impressive lead in this process. And this is a process that it was Dr. Valdez, Ms. Reina, and myself had the privilege of participating, and we were there, I think, every day except for a few hours. I know I had to leave one day early, and I think Ms. Valdez did too, and so that Ms. Reina had to step out every once in a while. But it was a very, I think this is a plan that I hope that we take to heart, staff. This is something that, unless that we all, buy into it, and make it work, it is a workable plan if everybody puts their heart and soul into this thing. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. I have a couple other things to add for my fellow board members. I think that's just helpful for us as board members to know. So one of the things that as board members, we participated, our role in participating was to really advise the board, to have the experience, be able to see and hear the conversation so we could come back and advise you all. Because our role is not to advise the staff, right? But our role in participating was to have the experience with staff members so we could advise you all, okay? So that's one thing, we try to make that really clear, and it's important because that's just something we continue to try to really form in the role of a board member, is to not advise staff. That's not our role. When we sit on committees as board members, it should be to advise other board members. So that's what we try to do, right? The other thing is that this call to action, you all, on page, I think it's like the 4th page back. I would, if I was you, take that out. You can do what you want with it, but what I would advise you to do, or take the pamphlet, I would really commit this statement to memory, think about it, because ultimately this, what I'm going to suggest is this is going to replace our vision for AE Local. The vision that is in our AE Local, this is our new vision, because it was created so collaboratively, and we actually pulled from our old vision. but we added in, revised, went back and forth, lots of different, we were like back and forth with lots of discussion on every single word. So this call to action as far as board members, I think this is one of the key pieces because we have to be able to speak to this anytime, anywhere. And when we were creating this, the committee, again, like 40 people coming to agreement is like hard to do, right?
It's on the first.
Yeah, it's on the very front of the booklet that they passed out. That we knew that this should be accessible not to just the adults, right? But ultimately for our students. And so we had this vision of like, what is something that when it is said, that it would not only inspire the adults, but our students. What could students stand up and say or hear every morning in their classrooms that would help them envision what we're about and what we are here to do together as a community? And that is this. So that a student can say, I'm here as a student, I'm gonna be empowered, I'm gonna lead boldly, I'm gonna achieve personal success in a global society. And though that our students are really sitting with that vision, not only for themselves, but us as a district and for each other. And so there was a lot of like back and forth. And so I would just suggest that this is a key thing that all of us as board members really should commit to heart. Not only memory, but really commit to heart, because this is what we're about and like the vision of like where we're going. So that's the second thing. One other thing I wanted to share with you all is just to put this in context, the strategic plan is kind of like a roadmap to get to the student outcome goals. This is kind of these things, accomplishing these will help us get to accomplishing our goals that we set out as a board. And then you'll hear the word goals in the strategic planning process. And then we have student outcome goals. They're different in distinction because they're kind of different structures. So just keep that in mind. We don't mean the same thing. Like the same thing that you see here as goals is not the same thing as we mean like student outcome goals. So just a distinction that I think is important. Those are the goals like for the strategic planning process. So I thought that would be helpful to add.
Any more questions? Anybody more comments? Okay, well, thank you very much for a wonderful job. You all did very, very well, and we're very happy to have this done for a district, and we're really proud of each and one of you that really got together and made it happen. Thank you so much. Appreciate it very much. Next, we will go to district operations, discussion and possible action to amend contract with ROFA Architect of Record.
Mr. Angel? Mr. Angel?
Yes, good evening, board. So we have an agreement with our architect for construction. However, in speaking to our legal, she was recommending that we do an amendment so that anytime there's other projects that do not deal with construction, as far as actual new buildings, we would be able to be a little bit more clear on what the fees would be. So Ms. Alyssa drew up this amendment that you have before you, and she wanted to add this to the architect's agreement.
And just to clarify, you got a separate sheet of paper. We corrected one amount based on their original contract. So.
I guess the only question that I had, Doma, so principals are going to be calling the architect?
No.
That's what threw me off when I saw that. I wasn't sure.
Okay, no, that's the title of the, like within the architectural.
Got you. Okay.
All right.
And this is really just for clarification purposes.
It's not that we were seeing an issue happening.
No issues,
Okay.
but after reviewing it, we just wanted to clarify, because my understanding is there are separate matters that he's called for that are not necessarily the building of a building. And so we just want to be clear in the future going forward that if that occurs, there is an agreed amount per hour. So no issues.
And who's authorized to call them? Is it just the superintendent or is it assistant superintendent?
It'll be the superintendent as well as Mrs. Arnhill.
Usually there is, Mr. Angel will let me know if there is a need, and then we discuss it, and if there is a need, it's confirmed, then we'll call him.
And of course, as superintendent, he can authorize somebody on his behalf if necessary.
And Mr. Rofa, you've been doing business with Donna for how long now? ISD. Mr. Rofa is here. How long you been doing business with Donna ISD?
For quite a few years, recently since 2015.
2015.
was
Okay.
the first contract.
Okay.
And, really, I mean, we just want to make the clarification of that.
Okay. Thank you.
We're here on site for another project, and we just look at something we've always done better. It's just response from maybe the time it extend a little bit more for certain things to review, and that's when we come home with a project. Typically, we try to utilize the time.
Thank you.
So this addendum is just a change, it's just a change to what was originally in the contract. It's not within the contract. This is additional monies that we're gonna be spent to do, whatever work necessary beyond what was on the original contract, correct?
Yes, nothing in the original contract is being changed. We just, based on the needs of or the potential services that he can
It's a
provide.
needs-based, requirement, correct?
Yes, and so we clarified it for the future needs, because it wasn't in the original.
Any other questions?
Has there been a lot of phone calls and issues on other assignments other than the?
Well, sir, I think, one time, and part of this is already being addressed in the contract, in the original contract, it states additional services. In the past, we've done it by additional services. I think this is, I want to clarify it a little bit more. I'll give you a good example. We all purchased the portable buildings over at Summer North. So we had asked if I would go out there and do a punch list, even though we weren't involved in the purchasing or the transaction of the portable building. So we made some time to go out there and do a punch list after we set in place. So those we addressed as additional services, we all paid us to do that. Those are kind of examples of, an example of the kind of services we might need. But I think it's healthy because there's a need by the district, and when it's authorized or seen as a need, I want them to feel comfortable to call me. I want them to,
Right.
I can't call them if I don't have authorization. That would be also good. Compared to this, metal, that should be fine.
And this basically locks you and the district into a certain fee and.
Yeah, well, yes, the hourly rates are the same ones that we had originally, we had the original contract in 2015. Even though our rates have gone up, we honor the same rates.
Anybody else?
Make the motion to
We
approve.
need a motion, I need a motion.
Second.
In favor.
Favor.
In favor. Motion made by David De Los Rios, second by Dr. Mary. And anybody else voted in favor, and I voted in favor, so motion passes. Next, we have open forum. Today, we have Linda Estrada, Alma de la Garza, and Raquel Martinez. Ms. Linda Estrada?
Hi, good evening. My name is Linda Estrada, Donna TSTA NEA member. And I'm just here to thank everybody for their support. 10 years ago, I started my presidency for Donna TSTA NEA along with our members and our ARs that represent all the campuses. And a lot has happened since then. I remember the first thing that happened when we took, we got into our first term was we started off with a RIF, and we lost over 200 paraprofessionals. And so here we are 10 years later, still in the same boat. But we're not, no RIF, thank you, Jesus. No RIF. And so I do want to thank the board, all the past board members, present board members, everybody who has worked with Donna TSTA NEA officers and the members in trying to move this district forward in a positive light. During that time, we had many successes. We've always had a love-hate relationship, but you know what? It's all, for the good of the students. And so we were able to win back some days that we had lost. Our local days, we got due process for paraprofessionals. And so it's still a work, you know, in progress that we got to work on. And so with that in mind, I would like to introduce the new officers that will be taking, that have taken office already as of June 1st. We've got Alma de la Garza, who is the president. We've got Leticia Calderon from Adame. She is the vice president for the professionals. We've got Luz Heredia, she, cafeteria manager at Lenore. She is the vice president for the ESPs. We've got Melissa Cortez, who is the campus secretary at Singletary. She is the secretary. And tonight, our treasurer is not here today. She had surgery last Wednesday. Ms. Norma Guevara, she is the secretary at Parental. Please keep her in prayer, you know, so she can have a quick recovery. And so I do want to thank you again for all the support you have shown, Donna TSTNEA. And I just want to tell you that something that we did as the locals, we fought for to make sure that everybody gets recognized for the work that they do. And that came to fruition 3 years ago when they finally decided to do an ESP of the year or a paraprofessional of the year. And unfortunately, it didn't happen this year. Don't know why, but you need to remember that it takes a village. Okay, it takes a village. So let's not forget, you know, none of the staff that helps, you know, educate the students. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Asaiz, Madam President, board members, and the community. I know that Dr. Asaiz already brought up the salaries, but I'm going to go ahead and read what I have. I'm Alma de la Garza, Donna TSTA President. We've been watching the current legislative session with intense interest. In fact, many of us here travel to Austin to lobby and rally for public school funding. This year has been hailed by many as the year of public school finance. After a long period of systematically underfunding public education in our state, it appears the legislature resolved to inject some much needed money into the system. While the funding increase is greatly welcomed by all stakeholders, this presents Donna ISD with a great opportunity to try to improve salaries for all employees in Donna ISD. As employees, we have stood by and continue to work toward Donna ISD improvement and success. After 3 years of absolutely no increases, we feel it is due time. The recently increased state allocations and the health of our current general fund provide the basis for this request. Given that our frontline educators and support personnel are already underpaid and have not had any increases, but suffered losses due to days, cut, and other increased costs, such as the cost of living, a meaningful and tangible pay increase is required for everyone. We urge you to consider the following recommendations on behalf of Donna TSTA. 1, starting salary for new teachers to the district at $50,000. This would allow for Donna ISD to move up compared to other area school districts with whom we compete against for highly qualified staff. In addition, provide a salary increase of $3,700 to $4,200 for all currently employed teachers, counselors, librarians, and nurses. 2, for support personnel, we request an across-the-board increase of $1.50 per hour for all hourly employees. Had Donna ISD provided some increases over the past 3 years, we would perhaps not be in this desperate situation where we are all feeling the pain of no new money in our budgets, but also increased work demands and expectations on staff due to hiring freeze and attrition process in progress. The legislative session presents an opportunity for greater investment in employee compensation. Such investment will lower employee turnover costs and will assist our district in becoming a destination district for educators. This is our moment to take the lead and go the extra mile. We are all invested and we are all in this together. We look forward to your response. Thank you.
Rachel Martinez.
And I just want to take a moment to thank you all for the work that you all do, being so present there in Austin. Truly, like, the HB3 passing is because people are present and lobbying and keeping education front and center of our elected officials. And I just can't thank you enough, because sometimes it's so easy to get busy with our everyday jobs and work and all the million things, right, our kids. But you all make the time and effort and energy to be present, and I can't thank you enough, because it takes things like people like you all coming together with people across the state of Texas that made that happen. So thank you.
Good evening. This is just a little synopsis. It was dropped off on my in my mailbox, so I gave you all a copy there. I know that last week we did y'all did the insurance thing, so this has in reference to that. I'm going to read a little bit of inserts on there, and the little one is a little thing, I guess, that they figured out what's going on. In September 2000, because this is, I guess, who we're dealing with. This is who is our new insurance person, is what I'm figuring out. In September 2003, Westlaco ISD elected to become a self-funded political subdivision and begin offering its employees benefits through direct contributions. And it goes on to say about how Westlaco did all their business and stuff. This is a lawsuit against their insurance carrier, okay? What the insurance carrier was doing, from my understanding, is they did not disclose a lot of the billing process, and it ended up billing Westlaco a lot of money. Took Westlaco a while to catch on. Reading this, I'm like, why didn't they prosecute them, is the bigger question. This is the same people we're dealing with now. And I hope Don ISD keeps a better eye on them than Westlaco did. It's concerning that this was not disclosed to the committee or to anybody at Donna ISD. And here we are with the same company. That should be concerning. I don't know what can be done now, since you've already contracted with them. But it should be very, very concerning to our employees, who are the ones using this company. So, thanks.
Next, we have consent agenda. Is there any discussion or clarification on the consent agenda? If not, we need a motion.
Make the motion to approve.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. David De La Rio, second by Dr. Valdez.
In favor?
In favor.
Favor.
In favor. Motion passes. Next, we have the governance report, policy discussion. Number 1, policy discussion.
Dr. McMahon, you there?
Yes, I am here. Hold on just a sec.
You didn't fall asleep on us, did you?
Oh, no, actually, I am just so impressed and so pleased with everything that I am actually seeing. You guys are doing an awesome job. So something I really wanted to talk to you guys about is that, can you hear me?
Hold on. We're trying to fix this over here so we can hear you better.
Okay, can you hear me better now? I've never been told I was too quiet.
Oh, yeah, that was, oh, hold on. Okay, go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been so proud and so pleased of everything that watching with you guys tonight. The information.
Oh, Dr. McMahon, hold on. You seem to be cutting out. Hold on a second. You're kind of just cutting out a little bit. Hold on.
We tested this.
It worked so good last time. Oh yeah, that's good. We put our two.
Is that better?
Sort of, kind of.
You sound less cutting out.
Okay.
Oh, better. Is that better?
Okay.
There.
I just wanted to say how proud, pleased I was with everything that I've been watching with you guys tonight. Your conversations of your monitoring report was absolutely outstanding. The questions that you as a board asked was those excellent clarifying questions. I loved the word strength of the strategic planning and how that aligns with the outcome focused. So kudos, y'all. The one thing that I did want to talk to you guys about tonight was our next steps in going into looking at policy. We have a plan in place. I have provided you guys with information regarding your local policy, of policies that are delegated specifically to the board, policies that are explicitly stated that they can be delegated to the superintendent, and policies that are implied that they can be delegated to the superintendent. And when we talk about these policies, I want to make clear that we are only talking about local policies. You as a board and you as a superintendent cannot impact and reflect legal policy.
Dr. McMahon, sorry, can you speak closer to your speaker or something? I think it might be something on your side.
Give me just a second and let me make a switch and see if it's better, okay?
Okay.
What? What about it? Yeah, it's already up. It's all the way up.
Does this sound any better?
There.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Let me.
Oops.
Okay. Does that sound better?
A little bit better.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Good. Sorry for the technology.
Where'd you go?
You left again.
Don't hide on us.
Tonight I really wanted to talk to you a little bit about policy. And in that piece, we are actually going to be looking at your local policy.
That's right.
Because you as a
Dr. McMahon, I don't
board,
know what it is. You seem to fade. Are you moving around?
I've got the phone as close to my mouth as I
There,
possibly
there.
can.
Get it very close to you then. Don't swallow
Is
it
that better
though.
right there?
There.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you understand that we are talking about local policy. Legal policy, you guys cannot touch, the superintendent cannot touch. What we are going to be doing in this process is identifying those sections of your local policy that you guys as a board want to monitor. And we're going to limit that to 5 local policies, because more than 5 would be too much. So I think you have in your documents a list of the policies that you can delegate to the superintendent and those that you cannot. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So here's what our process is going to be. I want you guys individually as board members to look at those local policies and identify the ones that are so very important to you that you want to monitor where that work is. And given one of your constraints is around staffing, you might want to look through the policies in the D section, like policies related to grievances, policies relating to staffing. I'm going to ask each board member to identify for me 5 policies that they want us to consider as a group to review. You're going to send those to me, and then we're going to compile the entire list together, and then we are going to set up a workshop to go through those and move those things out. This should take, I think we said maybe 10 days.
Yes.
Okay. So if the board members could provide to me a list of 5 local policies that are important to them within 10 days, I will take that and see where we are, and then we will schedule a meeting where the Deputy Commissioner, A.J. Crable, will be there to help us go through the next steps.
So do we, this document you gave us, we look at both the policies that are highlighted in blue and the ones in yellow, right? Those are all the ones that are fair for us to select our 5 from. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. And what you will actually have to do to read your local policy is you'll have to go to the ones on Policy Online, so you can read your actual current local policy.
Can you talk about the difference, because it says in here blue highlights are the sections that are that explicitly allow the board to delegate versus implicitly, which is the yellow. Can you talk about the difference between that?
Yes, ma'am. Just like you said, what has happened in vetting out this policy, TEA Legal has gone through and read, as well as collaborated with TASB. And both TEA and TASB have identified those that it explicitly says, the superintendent blue explicitly says the board can delegate this to the superintendent. The yellow says it doesn't exactly say that in the language, but the language implies that you can. So this is not a list of policies that has not been created and vetted out through both TEA and TASB.
Did that make sense to everybody? Yeah, I know it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
The difference between the explicit versus implicit? Okay.
Explicit means you definitely can. Implicit means you may.
Can, yeah, okay. Does everybody feel like they're clear on their homework assignment?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Due date, when do we need to send
10
them to you
days.
by?
21st.
21st of June.
21st of June, and I will ask Terry to make sure that each one of you have my email, and you can email it to me individually, please.
And Dr. McMahon, the only thing that I do want to add, just so that the board isn't overwhelmed, is I was looking, because I went through it all already, but not everything has local policy. There was a lot of them that didn't have local policy. So when you start looking through them, it's not really as much as I thought it was gonna be.
Because some of
Yes,
the ones
and
highlighted don't have local.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
If any particular coach would like an individual session on how I can help you look through those very quickly, I will be happy to set that up individually.
All right, super.
This document, these links, Are they hyperlinked to, or did you pull this from our, like, from our website?
No, those are not pulled from your policy online. So you have to go directly to your Donna policy online.
And find the, okay. I just wondering.
But they are separated into the professional, instructional, board governance, your A policies, your B policies, C policies, etc.
Okay.
Any questions?
Wow.
Clear.
Yep, clear.
All right, just know that I'm an email away, happy to help and assist. And I think this is a very exciting next step for this board that has been identified as an exemplary cohort board by TEA. Which is why you're at the spot you're at.
Yes. I'm like looking at all these policies. Yeah, she's still here.
I'm still here.
Okay, our next one is, the next is the Conservator Monthly Report for April.
Good
Romero's.
evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Asayis. I have the April monthly report. This is April, so we're behind, but that's because you have your board meetings early and they don't get reviewed by TEA until about the 10th or the 15th. Like this one got reviewed on the 13th, so it never makes it the following month. And that's just a timing difference. On the financial accountability, while it does show that your procedure manuals and internal controls are still slightly off, they have been done. They are here. I'm still reviewing it, but Mrs. Cancino has gone ahead and gotten it ready. She does have them. Now, she's still working on the year-end financial training. Her staff actually did a mini audit where they actually went in and reconciled the balance sheet accounts, which is what the auditors end up looking at year-end, and they've already got that on track. So that was like a trial run, and they'll do it again at year-end. So that pretty much is on the financial side. Now, centralized purchasing, that still, I believe that still needs a person in there, that they're still working on getting that one position for that department. I believe we're looking for a buyer or changing the position. It's still being worked on. Then we get on to the governance. On the governance, like Dr. McMahon said, that most of these items that are listed here under activities are part of the Lone Star governance. And if you'll notice, you are on track on a lot of them. A lot of these items, you're on track right there. Now, one of the things that still hasn't been started is the student outcome goal recognition. At the time, it hadn't been recognized as such at identifying those items, but it's been taken care of. I think you started in May that it started, that those were identified. And then the display of the student outcome goals and gross progress measures, those had not been done either. So that's still pending. And everything else is looking okay. Time tracker. LSG training implementation. I'm using that one, and I'm noting it's slightly off track, where I see where maybe the board is still getting into the inputs, and they shouldn't be. And I'm using that as a gauge, because really this instrument doesn't have a place other than for me in the narrative to disclose anything like this, where the board is doing something that I see is inputs, and really that's the superintendent's, that he should be addressing those. So that's the one that I'm using. And then I had another one here where utilize board platform to prepare for board meetings and house evidence of LSG implementation. That I also had slightly off track. But other than that, and the time track recalibration, which I believe one of the things that I haven't seen was on the NXT board platform. I still hadn't seen that. I don't know if it's getting put in there, Colonel Pettis.
On the platform, we put it on the one that she has, yes.
In May.
Yes, it was done, yes.
In May, okay. And the other thing is just, please continue to talk whenever staff calls you, send them and tell them, follow the chain of command. Please don't do appointments with vendors for the superintendent. Have them contact the purchasing department. And I believe that's about it for this. Let me see if there's another side on it. And at the time, okay, on the other general activities, everything's pretty much on track. The only other one item was the addressing the new staffing ratios. And obviously, you're going to be off track a little bit. You are going to be off track because TASB did give you specific staffing ratios, which you're not going to implement because you're going to wait for those positions to be freed up through attrition. So it's going to take a long time to do that, just to be aware of that. And that pretty much does it.
Thank you, Mrs. Romero.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have discussion and possible action to approve Alicia Reina and Colonel Robert Perez to travel to represent Donna ISD at Education Commission of the State's National Forum on July 10 to the 12th, 2019.
I thought she was gonna want to share. She's not there anymore?
No, she.
Can you go ahead and share with them?
Yeah, so we can share some background here.
Yeah.
So, Dr. McMahon asked us to represent Donna ISD at the Education Commission of the state. So essentially, this is kind of like a consortium, state governors, heads of state departments come together, and it's a place for learning across the country, right? And every year, they recognize an education initiative as a way to really say what is a way to learn from each other that we can transform our schools. And Lone Star Governance is going to be recognized there. So the state of Texas is really showing up big at this, across the country national forum. So every year they have this national forum, and they asked us, because we have been working on Lone Star Governance, to go and essentially we need to go and talk it up with a lot of people to share what we've been doing, what's been hard, what's been easy, what's been beneficial, because essentially people across the country are looking at Lone Star Governance as a way to transform their school districts. And so they thought it would be helpful to have board members that have been going through the process as a part of that. And so what y'all saw was some of the conference sessions, but essentially our work is really to go represent Donna ISD in the work we've been doing and to learn from others as well, because I think I've already talked with some people, let's say in Las Vegas, that are like, hey, Texas is doing some really cool stuff. What is that? How can we get into that?
So Texas is being recognized by Lone Star Governance, and since it's being recognized nationally, this is an opportunity for us to share what we've done at Donna and the changes we've made in the last few years, and how we continue to improve each year through Lone Star Governance. The framework that we use obviously is based on what TA has given us through Dr. McMahon's efforts, obviously, and our learning processes. And this AJ is going to receive an award, as I understand it, based on the Lone Star Governance framework. And I think that's an opportunity, just as Alicia just mentioned, I'll echo the same thing. It's an opportunity for us to share how we are improving those efforts, and that we're really focused on our student outcomes. And I think that's the important item that we want to highlight while we're there at the at this national forum, where you have different venues where we can learn from others, but they really want to learn what we've done here in the state of Texas, and specifically Donna.
Well, I congratulate both of you for going and taking places and representing Donna. I think that's just an amazing and awesome thing for our district and our community. Thank you both for doing that for this district. Thank you. Do we need a motion now?
Do we need a motion, right?
I make the motion to approve.
A second.
Motion.
Favor. In favor.
Favor.
Motion made by.
Do we have to abstain for that, or
Motion
can we
made
vote?
by, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ralph?
Vote to send ourselves.
Anything
In
else?
favor.
Okay.
Yeah, he voted.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay, I also vote in favor. Motion passes. Okay, now we go, the time is 8:05. We are going into executive session as authorized to the Texas Government Code sections 551.071, .072, .073, .074, .075, .076, .082, .083, and .084. We will be going into executive session. 13, we're back from executive session. Take possible action on matters discussed in executive session. Discussion and possible action to approve superintendent's recommendation of personnel. Approval of recommendation for professionals, paraprofessionals, auxiliary, and personnel. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. De Los Rios.
Second.
Second by Mr. Guerrero. Dr. Mary, how do you vote?
Favor. In favor.
Favor.
I also vote in favor. Motion passes. Next, approval. Okay, where we are right now. Okay. Approval of recommendations for proposed non-renewal of term contract. No action. Approval of recommendations for proposed termination of probationary contract. No action. Approval of recommendations for Chapter 21 term and probationary contract renewals. No action. Approval of recommendations for contract renewals for central office administration and non-teaching professionals. Do we need, I need a motion for that one?
Let me see. So move.
Motion made by Mr. De Los Rios,
I second.
second by Colonel Perez. Dr. Mary?
Favor.
Mr. Guerrero?
Favor.
In favor.
I also vote in favor. Motion passes. No, okay, approval of recommendation to issue letters of assurance for the 2019 and 2020 school year. I need a motion on that.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. De Los Rios, second by Mr. Guerrero.
Favor.
In favor. Favor.
In favor. Motion passes. Okay. B would be discussion and possible action to approve timeline for board self-evaluation and superintendent evaluation for 2019.
Okay, so we discussed the timeline for this. I'm going to move that we use this timeline as follows. June, board self-evaluation. In August, we will, probably the end of August, we'll have the superintendent evaluation. So we can have this at the beginning of the school year before it really gets going. And then that superintendent evaluation is formative. December, we will have another quarterly board self-evaluation. And then January, we will have the summative superintendent evaluation, which will be only based on student outcome goals, the one in January. So that is what I'm proposing, that I'm moving that we approve that timeline.
So moved.
I need a second.
You need a second.
Second.
Motion made by by Alicia Reina, second by Mr. Perez. Mr. Guerrero?
Favor.
Dr. Valdez?
Favor.
I'm gonna vote against.
And also vote in favor. Motion passes.
Favor.
Discussion and possible action to approve superintendent evaluation form.
So the form that we discussed using has two parts. One part is performance on student outcome goals, which the superintendent
pulls together, is already pulled together. It's what he reports on, but this will be for the year, school year 2018, 2019. That's the first part. The second part of the form is based on our policy, which outlines the superintendent's duties and responsibilities, and we'll be assessing his performance there, pull our assessment of his performance in those different areas together, and provide him one final assessment. So the form has two parts. This is the formative superintendent evaluation instrument that we're going to be using in August. It will be different in January. So I move we approve that form, the two parts.
Motion?
I move.
I second.
Motion made by Colonel Perez, second by Dr. Valdez. Actually, I think Alicia made the motion. Oh, sorry. You made the motion?
You
Yeah, I
seconded
just
it.
use that we use the
Sorry,
form.
okay.
Second, it's all right, and you said she second?
Favor?
Favor?
Favor.
Favor.
In favor. Motion passes. Discussion and possible action to approve pending or complicated litigation, settlement matters, and/or matters where the professional duty under state board requires private consultation with the school attorney. No action. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by
In favor.
Mr. De Los Rios, second by Mr. Perez. Mr. Guerrero?
Favor?
In favor.
We all said favor. Okay. And me too, favor. So motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Terry, catches it. Terry, did you catch all that? Terry? Yes, Terry. Yes. Yes, Terry. Just put 100. Check. You signed what I have.